Hello, guys, and people of YouTube. Welcome to episode 12 of podcast Desu. But before we get into this, I just want to say quick things, guys, as well. I've had a lot of people in my community and stuff like that saying that even though they're looking for my videos and searching for my videos, that it's not popping up in their searches and stuff like that. So please, guys, before we get into this episode, please make sure to like, comment, and if you're not already, maybe subscribe as well. That helps me out more than I can possibly say. It helps the channel grow as well and lets me deliver bigger and better content for you guys, if it helps the channel grow. So, selfless promotion done there. We're going to jump into it. So, yeah, welcome back, guys. Welcome back. So this is a little bit of an unknown one. Nobody knows we're recording this at the minute. We're just going to jump into it. As always, I have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Paul. How you doing, my man?
Hello.
So,
everyone. I'm good.
Nice to hear. So yeah, we decided to do a quick 20-minute, half an hour, just a quick episode today, just because obviously there's been some news with Babymetal and stuff like that. A lot of talk, not only with Babymetal themselves, but with obviously Kano and Momoko and stuff. We're going to get into that, but let's talk about the most important thing right now, the thing that everybody's been talking about for the last 24 hours, pretty much 48 hours. Babymetal, they're taking a break.
Yeah, it seems so. They put out a message on Twitter, which was I guess a welcome change from the usual merch drops that they've been pretty much putting out constantly since the pandemic started. And this was a surprise one. So basically, they've said that the 10 Babymetal legends that they've had so far, so the Metal Resistance era there, the last 10 years, is going to be sealed on the 10th of October. And then Babymetal are going to be, away from our view, away from our sight until the seal is broken. So whatever you think that means.
Whatever that means, that's very cryptic indeed.
It's not very straightforward, but the general consensus in the Babymetal community seems to be that they're taking a break. They're going on a hiatus. Some people took it even more to the extreme. They thought, okay, this is Babymetal, disbanding completely. But me personally, I don't think that is the situation. And just even an update on the situation since that tweet went out. There was an entertainment program on Japanese TV yesterday morning, where they mentioned on it that through a third party, we assume they spoke with Amuse, that it's not going to be a disbandment or not going to be a suspension of activities, but rather them not being visible to view on stage. So it's more of a kind of an on-stage hiatus, more so than a Babymetal hiatus. So I expect them to still be, kind of active in terms of, giving us little bits of news and maybe, merchandise and things like that, but just letting us know that there's not going to be any more shows until, I guess, maybe the COVID situation in the world allows for, full live shows with full crowds or possibly a tour. So my interpretation of that is that basically no more shows or tour or anything like that until the seal is broken. So I think maybe Fox Day next year, April 2022, is maybe when the seal will be broken, and they, hopefully COVID will be better by then. There'll be enough people vaccinated. We can have proper concerts. They can go on tour, and they'll get back to in Babymetal again and doing what they do best. So
yeah, there's a lot of detectives out there at the minute. Obviously, I've seen so many things online at the minute. Obviously, coinciding with Moa's being at university at the minute, people are saying that that's a reason as well. Obviously, COVID being another reason that it's just up in the air at the minute. I've got to ask you though, does it not feel a bit weird, this announcement to you? I mean, we've just had practically 2 years of relative silence apart from obviously the Budokan shows, and then as soon as we've done these shows now, we're going back into another period of silence. Was that surprising for you?
Well, I guess with Budokan, even though it wasn't that visible to the international fan base, because we were basically following it on our phones or on Discord or on Twitter, They were pretty much working hard on Budokan from, I would say, January to April to mid-April. So for the first 4 months of the year, they did 10 shows in Budokan, and all the shows were different. So they were pretty much working solid for the first 4 months of the year, even though it didn't really feel like were that available or that visible to us in the West. So they were working pretty hard. So I think after that they were kind of taking a bit of a break, maybe for for the rest of April, May, June, kind of summer holiday, and kind of figuring out what are we going to do next. So I think they kind of figured or thought in their mind that COVID is still really serious. Like the cases in Japan are on the rise. A lot of people aren't even vaccinated in Japan, and they're just not going to be able to do full shows or plan a tour anytime for the rest of this year and probably the early part of next year. So that was probably the motivation for saying, let's just say we're going on a bit of a pause now, and we'll pick it back up in after on Fox Day next year. So in true Babymetal style, they're not going to just say we're on a break, we'll call you when we come back. They're just going to give you some cryptic message. We're going to be locked behind a seal, shall not appear again until the seal is broken.
There's sometimes you love the law, and there's other times you freaking hate it because you're just like, no, tell us what you mean.
It can be very frustrating at times, but that's also an element of baby metal that makes it exciting. Like they're never straight with you. They never say exactly what's going to happen. They never give you answers without asking 100 more questions. So you always, I think that's what they want. I think they want people to be like, oh, what's going to happen next? Oh, are they disbanding? Oh, is this the end? Will we ever see them again? And we've been doing this for a long time. Like for people who are new to baby metal, it's been a running theme that it's coming to an end. They use terms like doomsday and apocalypse and the final battle and all this stuff. It's coming to the end of a chapter, and they love this end of the world shit, like, and they're always like teasing finishing, this is the end, but I think this is just one of their latest kind of teasers that it might all be over, and the message is kind of buy as much baby metal and consume as much baby metal as you can, because it could end at any time. Do you know what I mean? So they constantly have fans in the state thinking, oh, it's over, we better just stock up on merchandise, but they do it then constantly. So it's funny in that sense.
Well, let's get to the nitty gritty, because obviously there's some things I want to ask you. Even though this announcement has been done, and even though we know the history of baby metal, we know their announcements, and we know that they could just disappear, or it's very vague. There has been, I wouldn't say negativity, but I want to say mixed reception of this announcement. It's not often you see baby metal fans and baby metal communities at odds, and it definitely feels like this announcement. I wouldn't say I wouldn't say infighting or anything like that, but there's definitely a visible side of people are like, oh, okay, very accepting of this, and people are like, oh, really? Like you just came back, or like you said, it's the end, it's the apocalypse. We're never going to see them again. So do you think, like, obviously, like I said, you just kind of went into it a little bit there with the announcement and then always being vague, but do you reckon that announcement could be handled better? Because I know you said about the third party stuff as well, but unless Amuse actually come out and physically say, like, it's fine, just wait, there's lots of people are going to be like, well, they're silent. So, like, if you were in charge, how would you have handled that situation?
Yeah, it's in baby metal style. Like, as I said, they're not going to say anything straight up, and the fans they want the fans to be on edge and kind of debating and speculating as to what might happen next. But I think in terms of a divide in how people react, I think there's two distinct groups of how people reacted. You have maybe the longer term fans, more likely the Japanese fans or the older fans, kind of took it a bit in their stride and saying, okay, this is, we understand baby metal at this stage, we know this is what they do, they love the end of the world stuff, and it's not that big of a deal, it's not, we're not going to get too crazy about it, we'll see what happens. And then you have another group of fans who are definitely newer fans, they've maybe come into baby metal more recently. They're of a certain generation, and they're more likely to engage in hysteria and hyperbole and say, oh my god, baby metal is disbanding, how dare they do this, and just get crazy about it. So it's kind of an old fan versus new fan thing, and maybe an older generation versus younger generation. The first side is more likely to kind of take things as a bit calmly and kind of think about it before reacting, whereas maybe younger, newer fans are like so on edge that they're like, oh, as soon as they say, oh, locked behind a seal, won't see them again, or like, oh my god, this is the end of the world, I'm gonna AMS, or and do something crazy. So but I think that's what the baby metal wants. If it was just straightforward, and it was just, we're going to tell you exactly what we're going to do, that would be kind of boring, right? So,
well, that's the genius of Cobra though, as well, isn't it? It's like whether or not it's good or bad, or people are like accepting or people are not accepting. If you're talking about baby metal, Cobra's job is done because he wins. He
wins. I mean, you look at what happened straight away. There was an article in Metal Hammer magazine, Loudwire, Kerrang, Rock Sound, basically all of the major metal media outlets were talking about it, saying, oh, baby metal going on a pause, baby metal this, baby metal that. So when baby metal is out there and people are talking about baby metal, they're winning. Do you know what I mean? It put them out there. People say that they've done nothing for X amount of time, but people are still talking about them. Do you know what I mean? It's making the top article on Kerrang or on Metal Hammers. So it's a way. It's that could even be part of it. It could be like saying, okay, we haven't been talked really about since Budokan ended in April. What can we do to get our name, back in people's minds again, back in the metal media? Let's just say that we're going on a hiatus, and they do that anyways. They spend months of the year without doing anything, and it just really goes unnoticed. So this is like saying, oh, look at us, we're not going to do any concerts until April. Probably weren't going to do concerts until next summer anyways, because they can't do full shows and they can't organize a tour. So it could be even just a publicity stunt, It could be even that simple, and
it could be.
It gets people talking. So
it does get people talking.
As a fan, I'm not worried at all. As a fan, I'm not scared about a disbandment. I think they have so much more to give. There's another album or two to go. There's going to be another, more live shows, more tours next year. So people who are getting crazy about it and saying they're going to disband and whatever, calm down. It's not even that bad.
I want to touch on it. The last negative thing before we move on to the more optimistic thing, shall we say? More speculation than facts. But do you think with COVID and stuff like that as well? Obviously, with Baby Metal sort of coming back for the 10 shows as well. There was a lot of talk, obviously, on social media of maybe a fourth album. Of maybe some shows, or maybe them being obviously active again, which has obviously turned out that's what they're doing, the complete opposite of that. Is that like maybe just the fan base, we've barely heard them through pretty much the entirety of COVID, apart from bits and bobs. Do you reckon that's just part of the reason why people are so frustrated right now with them a little bit? Like they were like, oh yes, they're back, and then they've gone again so quickly.
Oh yeah, there's definitely frustration there with what's been going on. Some people are react differently to kind of being frustrated. Some people go crazy and start fighting with each other. Other people are just kind of chill and saying, okay, we understand COVID is going on. No bands are doing big tours or full shows. So I think it's your level of patience with it. Do you know what I mean? Yes, it is frustrating, and I can understand how maybe younger, newer fans who are less knowledgeable about baby metal, are kind of more frustrated because maybe they're not used to this stuff. But this is kind of par for the course for baby metal. So strap yourself in. This is baby metal. If you don't like it, I'm sure there's other groups out there that are more active and it'll be more entertaining and it'll be on social media. Every day K-pop groups, etc.
I must admit, for me personally,
they are.
Yeah, exactly, man. They are who they are. For me personally, obviously, as obviously a content creator who follows obviously Japanese metal quite closely, and in particular baby metal on the channel. Obviously, them turning around and saying we've got a hiatus. I'm like, no. I want the fourth album.
Yeah, you want more content.
I want
so
more
you can
content.
React to it and consume it and share it. Yeah,
Yeah, and
I understand that too. Like,
yeah. I was like,
more
no,
stuff
I don't want to break, because I was really, I was in one of the sections that was like, oh yes, after these shows we're gonna get like a new era, or we're gonna get a new album or something like that. So for them to like say the hiatus, I was like, no, but it's totally it's totally understandable, which kind of leads me into obviously what I was kind of going into now, which is like more speculation than anything. You would think on the return that it's going to be big. It's going to be big. Like I have no doubts that in the next 6 months now they have to come back with this is us. We're back. Oh, by the way, fourth album's out in 6 months. We're going to be dropping a single in 2 months' time or something like that. I mean, the hype for that would be bonkers, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Like, I mean, I think they will come back with a bang. Like, if you look at maybe the last time they kind of went quiet for a period and then just resurfaced, it was in 2019. So after 2018, there was like a post on New Year's Day for 2019, and there was literally no tweets, no nothing from Babymetal up until Fox Day, and they left it to the last minute of Fox Day to announce, you know, the shows in Yokohama, you know, Legend M, the new album coming out. You know, a couple of days later, they announced the album launch show in LA Forum. So everything came together after a period of, you know, nothing really. So, you know, I think Babymetal will kind of have something big in store, and when they do come back, it will be like, you know, hit you in the face, Babymetal again, and it's going to be awesome. So that's something to look forward to.
I hope so.
I think you have to kind of be positive, look forward to that kind of moment, you know.
I hope so. I'm going to talk about this before jumping into, which kind of leads on to the other girls that I mentioned before. But obviously, there's a lot of girls that have obviously been doing everything now. We know that Momoko is on shows. We know that Kano is obviously now in 1-5 and stuff like that. How do you think Babymetal's going to come back? Because I'm imagining now they're using this time to do probably a bit of a reshuffle, thinking about what they're going to do when they do come back eventually. Is it going to be Mo and Sura again? Are we going to get 3 new Avengers? Is it going to be something else that we're not predicting or something like that? I mean, what were your thoughts? Also, tell me what you'd like to see, but also what you think is going to happen.
What would I like to see? It'd be good. I think it'd be good to see a permanent third member. That's probably very unlikely to be Momoko now because of the direction she's taken in her career and what she wants to do. So it could be a new member. It could continue with the Avengers. Maybe get in a new Avenger. Some people are still optimistic that Yui could potentially make a return, but personally, I don't think that's likely. Or they could use this time to kind of really think about just having Sue and Moa and how they're gonna, you know, just do that as a duo. Like maybe let Moa have more of a prominent role in the group in terms of singing and doing her own solos. So you could work at that. It's like just Sue and Moa and then like some anonymous dancers. So there's 100 different things they could do. So my preferred option would be to get a third member, because I love like the trio and Black Babymetal, and I think you could revive that. You know, there's still there. But the most likely, I think, is maybe the Avenger concept has been working. I know some people don't like it, but it works. So yeah, maybe get in another Avenger and just kind of keep going.
Well, they did tease that. I'm glad you go on that note, because they did tease. Obviously, there's been a massive debate about whether or not they should bring back Black Babymetal. But I've got to say that Moa absolutely killed it by herself at the Budokan shows, and with 3 other dancers as well. Is that maybe a hint or something like that, you reckon? Or maybe a little nod there that maybe we're not picking up on? Those 3 girls could be the new Avengers, possibly. I have seen that, or rumoured, shall we say, speculation at best. Is that something you can see going forward? Because bringing back Black Babymetal, even if it is just a one-off for those times, it was nice to see.
I don't think so. Personally, I think the special performances at Budokan were not really talking about what they're going to do in the future, but rather like a throwback to what they had done in the past. So I think you kind of have to take Budokan as an isolated thing, and not really look too much into the future.
All right, well let me
with that.
let me rephrase it then. Let me rephrase it. Could you see a Moa Black Baby Metal in the future with those 3 girls, but her own song, a new song?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that would be more so like a duo concept. Like even though if it would just be Sue and Mo, I think they would still need to have other people on stage, like other dancers, to kind of facilitate it. Otherwise it would be just kind of Mo standing on stage and singing. That's not really her thing. Her thing is like being like the energy person and being the entertainer. So if it was just her standing on stage singing like No Rain, No Rainbow, like Sue does, I don't think that would be really what she's about. She'd be more about like
that's why I like her with the Black Baby Metal, because it's more intense, it's more faster. She's got that energy and stuff like that she can do that.
It gives you the buzz, like
it gives you like that fast paced like metal music where Moa can go a bit crazy. And then, like you said, you've got Sue that's got the almost the rock ballads and the solos, which are just like majestic as fuck and unbelievable. So there's room for both of them. It's just something I've seen on Twitter. I've seen in obviously baby metal groups and stuff like that. A lot of people chatting about it, giving their opinions, and it's just something else. Like these tiny things you pick up on, because Cobra does that. He gives like little hints. And then 6 months later, nobody thinks anything of it, and then it will reappear 6 months later, and you're like, oh yeah, and you're like, oh, how did I not see that? But then it could be something just like one off and so little, people sometimes don't pick it up,
Like, we'll see what happens. I mean, the question is out there. Like, the question is how will they come back? What will be their formation? The members, Avengers, whatever. So it's all up in the air, like, and it's all stuff we can only kind of think about and speculate about for the moment, and just kind of see what happens. So
yeah, well, talking about the Avengers, some of the Avengers, also should I say ex-Avengers, probably now, have been doing really well for themselves recently.
Yeah.
We'll start off with Kano, because I know a lot of the attention's been on Momoko at the minute. She's been doing amazingly well with 1-5. I believe they just released another song as well. A lot of attention has been sort of directed at them. I see a lot of marketing going on for her in particular, and obviously because she's an ex-Avenger as well, very, very well promoted in obviously the baby metal sections of all the deep dark places we tend to lurk. It's that's another state of another band. I don't think she's the band, the 1-5 has hit. I would say they're mainstream at the minute. I think they've got a long way to go for that, and I think it's going to take a long time. And I feel like they definitely need a hit or maybe 2 before that sort of takes off. But it's nice to see the band sort of going in that direction and doing well. What's your take on 1-5 and Kano in particular at the minute?
Yeah, so I've followed 1-5 quite closely, as well as Kano. There's other members of SG there, Soyo, Gumi, and Momo. So they're kind of well known in the SG baby metal community, and people want to follow them and see what they're doing. So you're right, they're trying to be bigger. They're trying to be in the mainstream. I think they're trying to go for the Perfume style vibe, who have been like a super successful group from Amuse. They've been around forever, but they haven't quite broken that yet. Their fan base still seems to be the SG baby metal community, and they haven't quite broken the market yet, the mainstream market. But I think they will. It's a work in progress. Take a bit of time.
Yeah,
I think they'll get there. They're on the right track. So I hope they do well. Just about Kano more recently, as well as being in 1-5, she's also started doing plays. She's in the middle of a play at the moment. It's called Stray Dog.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because I completely forgot about that.
Yeah. So Stray Dog is it's like it's a play about it's quite deep actually. It's about Hiroshima. What happened there in 1945. Today is actually the 6th of the 8th, which is the anniversary of the Hiroshima bombing.
Yeah, if we can in chat on that, if you're watching this and you get to this little point as well, just put in your anything that you'd like to say in the comments about Hiroshima today, and mark your respects and stuff like that. So that would be nice.
so today is like a big memorial day. They do it every year in Hiroshima. They have like a moment of silence and a whole ceremony thing. So this was obviously orchestrated, this play to be on around that time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're on a run of shows at the moment in Tokyo. They're moving on to Osaka then for a run of shows. So basically, the show is about what happened in Hiroshima, about how it affected people's lives, about how they're dealing with it now. It's set actually 10 years later. It's set in 1955. So it's kind of how people lost people, and how it's still really affecting the people, and Kano features in it. Now you can watch it. There's links on Twitter for like an online ticket. I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard good things. Apparently she's really good in it. She really stands out. She's really expressive. Like there's like, even though it's a very sad theme, there is singing, there is dancing, and she, being Kano and being as talented as she is, she really shines. She's not the lead role. She somehow kind of.
But for her age, though, and the fact
really
that she's
well,
she's in 1/5 as well, juggling those two jobs, it really shows the work effort she's doing. Yeah,
it's brilliant. Like, and the subject matter is quite heavy. It's about something that was devastating, that took a lot of people's lives. But I think it's also kind of important for Kano in a way, because she's obviously a big fan of Suzuka. Looked up to her when she was in SG. Suzuka was an SG president. Sue was also from Hiroshima, and people who know Sue and are fans of SG and Babymetal, they know that the whole Hiroshima thing, Sue being for Hiroshima, it's really important to her. Like every year, she'll talk about it somewhere, or she'll make a post, and she'll encourage people to observe the minute silence and to pay respects, and it's very important for her. So I think Kano being a fan of Sue, and the Hiroshima thing being so important to Sue as a person for Hiroshima and for Japan in general, it's like a meaningful type of play. It's not just just kind of a fairy tale or about something that didn't happen, or like a science fiction type thing. It's actually really happened, and it's historic, and I was playing a pretty big part in it. Not the star role, but
you should
is doing well.
You should be her agent, Paul. The way you're advertising this play.
No, here, like her talent speaks for itself. Like I mean, you see, she was a president in SG. She was brilliant for Babymetal. She's doing really well in this play. She's in 1/5, so I mean, what she's done speaks for itself, exactly. without me being her promoter.
Exactly.
But
there are
doing well.
There are other girls doing really well at the minute. Mostly Momoko, or shall we say, is in the limelight quite a lot. I remember when this first came to our attention, there was a lot of talk, even in my Discord, about, isn't it? Is it? And then people are like, no, it's not. And then people were like, yeah, it is. And people were like, no, it's not. I remember I remember the thread of people comparing ear sizes and nose shapes to see if it was her, because we're like, why won't somebody tell us her name? Until eventually it was confirmed that it was indeed Momoko, which got a lot of people talking about, obviously, the future of the Avengers themselves. Because I think once Kano and that left, a lot of people had Momoko earmarked for that third girl spot. So I think it surprised quite a few to see her go off and do her own things as well. But how is she doing? Do you want to tell us a little bit more about the show? I did do a reaction to it as well. It is on the channel, so if you want to go and have a little look at that, guys, it is there. But take it away. Take it away if you want to give people that maybe don't know about Momoko at the minute.
Yeah, so she's taking part in a K-pop survival show called Girls Planet 999. Very catchy name. And basically it's kind of like an X Factor style show where was 99 contestants. There's 33 from Japan, 33 from Korea, 33 from China. So 99 in total. And they're basically competing to be in a new K-pop group that people think is going to have 9 members. So she's trying out for this. They had the first episode actually today, and even though she didn't feature on camera that much, she's in a group with like 2 other really popular members. The way they have it done is they've taken the 99 members and they've put them all into groups of 3. So there's 33 groups of 3, and this group is called a cell. So basically, they've said that the cell is going to either get further on in the competition or get eliminated together.
Yeah.
You're actually not working as an individual in this competition. You're working as a team. So if you mess up, you're ruining it. You could potentially pull down two people who have done quite well. So there's added pressure. So if these shows weren't pressured enough, there's added pressure. The cell she's in is very strong. It includes a Korean member called Jujin, who's a former member of another K-pop group called CLC. She's really had her career already. She's already debuted. And there's another Chinese girl then who's quite popular. So she's in a really good group, and if she can stay within this group, that group is probably going to do well. So she's probably going to do well. So although we didn't get to see her much in the first episode, she's in this cell that is probably going to do well because of the members that are in it.
Yeah.
So I think she could go quite far in the competition if it stays with that team of three concept. So I wish Momoko the best of luck in the competition. She was brilliant for Babymetal. She done like so many shows, and especially all of the shows over the last like 18 months, including all 10 Budokan shows. So, and that was the reason why a lot of people were saying, okay, she's done so many shows now. She was the only Avenger left after Kano and Riho went off to do their own thing. People were saying, okay, it makes sense for her to be added to Babymetal, but she's obviously taken this different path, and I wish her the best on that journey.
Exactly. It's nice to see the girls going off and having careers. Not only is it a credit to Babymetal as well, they're a massive, obviously, credit to SG, seeing all these girls go off and do different things. And I hope she does really well as well. And
even the third Avenger, Riho, she actually just recently released a new album or mini album EP, and that has 5 or 6 songs on it, and so she's an artist in her own right now. So all of the Avengers really are doing well.
Yeah, I didn't.
Or trying to do well.
Yeah, I didn't mention Rio just because we talked about her in the last episode. Plus, I've done a few reactions to some of her new songs as well, which are awesome, by the way. But you're right.
Just to mention the third Avenger.
Just to mention the third one. But it's incredibly nice to see them all doing well and all having their own little careers and stuff like that.
It's good to see them do it.
Yeah. I would love even though I've been in the camp of having a permanent third member, I would love another set of Avengers for another maybe 2 years. And then to follow these girls and see them go off and do careers and stuff like that, but always have that attachment to Babymetal. I think it's very nice to have. As much as I would have liked all the girls being the Avengers forever, it's nice to see your kid leave home and do well, and you could just picture Sue and Moa there, our girl's doing us proud. Goodbye. Goodbye. It's your time to fly now. Yeah, so it's nice. It is nice.
Wings.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking, but it's nice at the same time. You gotta let your kids grow up.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's amazing. So there's been a lot of positive things. Obviously, the downside is obviously Babymetal's taken a hiatus. The good news is well, like we've just been talking about, there's plenty of good news to go on about. We know that they're definitely not ending. Although it's not officially confirmed yet, but all fingers are pointing at it's fine. Calm your shocks. Go and take a cold shower. It's okay. Chill out. For now. For now, it's okay. Obviously, it's not going to stop people from talking until there's official confirmation. But knowing the music and knowing Babymetal, we'll probably never get that until, hey, we're back. So, yeah. Well, it is what it is. I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. It's short and sweet, coming in at about 34 minutes, which is whereabouts I wanted to leave it. If you got any questions for me or Paul, that's something maybe we didn't cover in this episode, if you leave a comment down below, me and Paul will reply to it, and we'll try and answer the questions to the best of our abilities. So thank you guys for joining us. I hope you like this little episode. Again, if you've got any ideas for maybe a podcast that you'd like to see, containing any bands or any ideas for one, any guests that you'd like to see on the podcast as well, again, just let me know in the comments. I read them as much as I can, and I'll heart them as I always do. So thank you guys. Paul, again, mate, thank you for being a good sport and jumping on this last minute. Man. And we'll see you guys all next time.
See you.